in this video I'm checking out the Mobula7 from Happy Model. This is a 1S or 2S brushless whoop. It's 75mm motor to motor. It comes on with a single board here, not a dual board like on the Beta FPV products. So it's a 5 amp 4-in-1 EC plus a flight controller plus a receiver all on a single board, which is pretty cool. It's called the Crazy Bee F3 Pro, and it does 1S or 2S, whereas the previous version of the Crazy Bee F3 was 1S only. And they have a special wiring loom here for connecting up two 1S batteries, so you can get 2S out of this. Basically the board is the same dimensions, same USB port in the bottom here, just that now we're on a 75mm frame here, and we have a different canopy. The camera here is the same one that was on the eSheen US and UK 65. It's the one with smart audio, and so it's all wired up already for smart audio, so you can change your band's channel and power via your transmitter, which is great. Yeah, the motors on here are the 0802. These are the 16,000 kV, so they're rated for 1S or 2S. And plenty of power here on these 40mm four-bladed propellers. Pretty fast for the setup, and I think that it flies a little bit better than the Beta 75X because it's quite a bit lighter. And actually, let me just give you that weight measurement right now. Okay, so this is without any batteries, and you got to throw on this little 1S LiPo adapter, and we're coming in at exactly 28 grams. And the Beta 75X without any batteries came in just over 40 grams, so it's a 12 gram difference. And obviously it's mostly going to be due to the smaller motors. The frame is a little bit lighter as well. Those kind of things make a big difference. Also, the Beta 75 was a two-board system. We had a flight controller. Actually, it's three boards. You had a flight controller, and then a video transmitter, and a 4-in-1 EC, all inside the frame area there under the canopy. So quite a bit of different overall system and design compared to the Mobula7. And I think that this makes a really big difference. I think that another really big difference is the adjustable camera angle on the Mobula7. So you can see here, this is all the way down like this, and you can pretty much see all of the ducks in view, and you can fly very, very slowly if you want to, or you can raise up the camera angle to the maximum, like about 40 degrees like or so here, and you can go pretty fast if you want to. So I do like the fact that it's nice and adjustable here with the obviously the all-in-one cameras inside this little cage that's connected to the canopy, and the adjustability here is very versatile, so you can fly 1S and really slow if you want, or you can fly 2S and really slow if you want, or you can go with a really high camera angle and fly really, really fast. So you saw some of that sample video at the beginning of the video, and I'll show you some more a little bit later of the, obviously you can do a lot of different flying styles with this, and because of it, it's lighter than the Beta 75X. I think it's a little bit more maneuverable, it's a little bit more responsive, especially in acro flying and outdoor conditions. So this, I think, is going to be probably the most versatile of the brushless whoops out there. If you want to fly slow indoors, you can do that with this. If you want to fly fast outdoors, you can do that with this. Whereas the Beta 75 and 65X, because of the way the canopy was on those products, the camera angle was fixed, and actually quite a bit of camera tilt. So let me just show you. This is the standard stock canopy on the 65X, and the 75X is the same way. So unless you do a mod or you do a different canopy, you're stuck with this camera tilt. So when I was trying to fly this indoors, of course you can't see any of the ducks in view, and if you want to fly slow, you're basically looking at the ceiling. So if you fly fast, it's pretty much uncontrollable because it's too fast for small spaces. So I just ended up flying this outdoors only. So I'll get into a little bit of a discussion of pros and cons and all that here in a second. Now, it does come with 4 sets of 1S batteries here. And these are just your standard whip style batteries. It's a 1S 250 milliamp hour, 3060C with a PH 2.0 connector. And the way that the batteries work in here is you use this little adapter, stick this in here, and then you stick one battery underneath, and then another battery up on top. And this little adapter will hold the two batteries together so that they don't come out. and it doesn't come out no matter how much you crash or shake it. And that's how the batteries go into the frame. And then you just plug in one battery to one plug here, and then it'll power on with the second plug going in. Now if you want to fly this on 1S only, for example, like on a bigger, like a 450 1S, that'll slide into the standard slot here. That's actually for a 1S 450. And then what you need to do is you need to make some sort of a little like a plug here that will short the two wires and connect the circuit to complete the circuit, so that it'll power up on 1S only. If you guys are interested in a video about how to do that, I could make one, but honestly I wouldn't really bother flying this on 1S. 2S is fine, and you can still, because of the adjustable camera angle, you can fly it as slow as you want in 2S mode, so it's not really a big deal to fly it in 2S. Okay, so the rest of the stuff that comes in the box, you get a charger here. This is for the standard version, and this one you've seen before on the US and UK 65 standard versions. You can charge off of a battery, off an XT60, or use a barrel plug like a 12-volt source, and then you can charge up to 6 batteries at a time. You do get a nice set of instructions. It shows all the setup and everything that you need to do. I think it comes default under the FreeSky D16 receiver mode for the FreeSky version. If you're having issues with D16, you can always switch the receiver to the D8 mode. I heard some people had better luck with that, so there's instructions on how to switch that over. But the instructions are pretty good for this one, so no complaints about that. And then you get a bag of little extras here. You get a spare set of props. I haven't been through a lot of crashes. I haven't had a need to even change any of the props. Actually, none of the props are even look nicked or damaged. So yeah, I'll talk about the durability here in a second. But yeah, I didn't need to change any of the props. You get a little prop removal tool and some spare screws and a screwdriver. And you get an extra one of these little 1S to 2S adapters. That's one. This is the one that came on there. And I guess there's a spare in case you lose one. There's an extra of that one. Okay, so just a quick discussion on some of the spare parts that are available. Obviously the spare motors here. These are the 0802, the 16,000 kV that come on here. So you can buy a spare set if you happen to need those from a crash or whatever. But I've had any issues with the motors, but spare motors are available if you need that. And then there's the spare flight controller. If you have a problem with the flight controller, that's what it looks like. It's an F3. That's another thing that I kind of wish that they would have done, is made this an F4 instead of an F3, but honestly, for a whoop, it's not that big of a deal. And then, of course, if you break the canopy, a spare canopy is available. Obviously, this is meant for the all-in-ones, although I think I've seen people adapt these to other cameras. If you can adapt the camera to these cutouts here and just stick that lens through here, then you could use the adjustable camera angle with this particular canopy and get quite a bit more camera tilt. And I think that without the all-in-one there, without the antenna blocking the camera being tilted back, you could probably go, Matty stunts 65 degrees or something like that if you really want to. If you put a different camera in here and say like a single separate micro video transmitter like a HGLRC Nano, might be actually a pretty good mod for this. I might do that for a future video. Now, Happy Model did send me a couple spare frames in case I end up breaking these, because these are a bit more flimsy than the ones that Beta FPV products come with, but these are also much lighter. Now, they say this is the Mobula7 frame, and I'm not, maybe this is a newer version of the Mobula7 frame, because it does come with these taller posts here where the flight controller will mount to. These are a little bit taller, and that's for the canopy to be raised up a little bit here. You can see the canopy is raised up off the board a little bit more than other canopies you see in other whoops. That's so that you can get this adjustable camera tilt and get that camera all the way back without the back of the all-in-one camera board hitting the flight controller. So I do actually have a Mobula7 frame here from back in the day when I guess that was not that long ago, 6 months ago, when the Mobula7 came out. They sent me some spare frames. This is what that one looked like from Bowl Clash. You can see that this frame is different. There's 3 struts here, whereas this one from Happy Model comes with 4 struts on there. And then, of course, the taller posts here. And then this Mobula7 frame does not come with the taller post. And this is actually, if you guys are wondering, You know, the original B-Web75 was this black frame. It's the same frame, it's just white. And then the posts here are also short, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Now, if you go to the Banggood website and look at the replacement frame of this for this B-Web75 frame, I think there are some photos of the frame at an angle where it looks like the posts are taller on that frame. So this might be an updated frame that they're calling the B-Web75 frame, but apparently it's going to work for the Mobula7. So now the frame is repairable if you use something like welders or some sort of flexible glue. I haven't broken mine yet. I've had quite a few crashes already, and it's been pretty durable. I mean, obviously, if you really crash it hard into something, obviously it'll probably break because it is a bit lighter and thinner than the more sturdy Beta 75 frame. But if you if you need a spare frame, I think this is like $4, so not a big deal. I would recommend, if you do buy this, pick up a couple extra spare frames and a few other spare parts, just in case you are kind of one of those guys that likes to fly super hard and crash into things all the time. Then yeah, you probably want to get some spare parts. Okay, so just a quick little discussion on the pros and cons of some of the brushless whips that I've reviewed recently. Now here's the UR65, not the US65 that I actually did a video on. I've been flying this around too. This is fine for indoors. I would say that this is sort of my verdict on here. If you only have money for one and only one, and you can't buy all four of these, then I would recommend getting the Mobula7, because you could fly this low indoors, you can fly outdoors fast. You can do 1S if you want, although 2S is going to be totally fine. The only disadvantage is it's on a bigger frame, so if you want to really fly some tight gaps, then you're going to have to go to the slower 1S, the UR65 or the US65, because the 65mm frame obviously is slower, so you can be able to hit those really tight gaps with this setup. Plus, you can fly this even slower than this one if you want to. You can still fly the Mobula7 very, very slow, but if you only had money for one and you want to fly indoors and outdoors, get the Mobula7. Now, if you mainly fly indoors, want to hit a lot of tight gaps, and fly slower most of the time than the US 65, UK 65, UR 65. This one here should be fine for you. Yeah, I have no problems recommending this one as well. This is a very good flyer, a lot of fun. Now, if you are someone that likes to fly outside a lot in windy conditions, don't mind huge camera tilt, and don't care about looking at the ducks, then and you want the ultimate speed demons, then I think the Beta 75X here is going to be your whoop, because this thing is the fastest one out of the bunch here. Obviously, it's the heaviest, and it's got the biggest motors. 1103, 11,000 kV, 2S. So these motors are beasts. If you're talking about just pure straight line speed, the 75X is the clear winner out of all four of these. And then I think the Mobula7 comes in second, because the motors are similar. I think these are 0802s, 16,000 kV in this one, and I think these are 0802s, 17,000 kV on the 65X. But the issue here with the 65X is it's got the smaller 31mm propellers versus the Mobula7's bigger 40mm propellers. It's just faster because it's got a much bigger prop compared to the 65X. And the weight actually is pretty similar. I think that, if I remember from the video, the 65X weighs about the same as the Mobula7. So that's why this one is the second in speed, and then obviously the 65X is going to be third in speed. So if you're just considering just pure straight line speed, the 75X is the fastest, the Mobula7 is the second fastest. Third fastest would be the 65X, and then the UR US 65 series, that would be the slowest, and mainly for indoors. Okay, so now in terms of like acro flying, I had, as you know, issues with washouts on the Beta FPV products. I still had some washouts on the Mobula7, but not nearly as bad. I think it has to do mainly with the weight of the ducts of the frame. So you have a lot of mass, and especially in the 75X frame. So the advantages of the frame here is it's heavier, it's going to be more durable, it's going to hold up better in crashes. but I think the extra weight out here throws the flight controller for a loop, messes it up somehow. And I get a lot of yaw washouts where I'm making dives and maneuvers, and then it would just suddenly do a quick yaw, like a 180, or one of the motors would spin out, and I would just you would see like the back dipping. You've seen that before in some of my videos before. Now I still had some of that in this one where you would have a dive and a little bit of a dip, but not nearly as bad on the heavier 75X. So if you do a lot of acro flying and you're looking for a better acro experience, I think the Mobula7 is better right now. Now I have seen some people fly the 75X with pretty decent acro performance, but it's kind of hit and miss. Like both of my products here from Beta FPV, I have the yaw washout problem, and I've done all the tuning and everything that's been suggested on Facebook, but I haven't been able to get rid of it. However, I've seen some people fly it pretty well with the new settings, so I think that it's kind of hit and miss. It depends on maybe your batch of the motor, the ESC, some little minor differences that are allowing some people to have better flight experiences with theirs versus my experience has been not so great in terms of the yaw washout. Now, out of the three here, for yaw washout and acro performance, this one is the Mobula7 is the best one out of the three. Now, one more difference I need to point out. I think, just to be fair, the Beta FPV products do come with a much better video transmitter. It, of course, does also smart audio, but it's power switchable, 25 milliwatts, and you do 200 milliwatts if you want. So if you want to go long range, which I've seen some people do with the 75X, then that's going to be your choice. The Mobula7 is limited to the all-in-one camera with the 25 milliwatt video transmitter. Of course, you could always add your own 200 milliwatt video transmitter if you want to, but of course that's a aftermarket mod that you have to do if you want to do something like that. Anyway, I think I've covered all the bases on here for these products. Yeah, the brushless whoop category is definitely getting a lot better, and there's more coming. I can't really talk about all that yet because some of these things are kind of secret, but right now, as of today, as of this video, I think that I can very much recommend the Mobula7 as an all-around good brushless whoop. I would recommend flying it on 2S, and if you want to fly it indoors, just adjust the camera angle down. If you want to fly outdoors and fast, just pop up the camera angle. And yeah, it comes with a charger, extra batteries. I mean, it's pretty complete. The price is not bad. It's like $96, something like that for this. And the Beta FPV products are quite a bit more expensive. I think it's $120 for the 65X and $130 for the 75X. And it doesn't come with like a charge or anything like that. So yeah, you know, there's obviously price differences, there's durability differences, all those kind of things you have to weigh out. So just you know, you have to kind of determine for yourself what your priorities are and what you're going to need. And I think for me, this one here, the Mobula7, is going to be the one I'm probably going to be flying the most, because I tend to fly these guys more inside, especially in my smaller space. This is actually a lot more fun. And every once in a while, I'll take the big ones out and fly those outside. But I mainly fly the non-ducted whoops, actually the non-whoops outside, the ones that just don't have the propeller guards at all. That's where I mostly fly outside in terms of micros. So for me, I think this one is going to be the best for me indoors and occasional outdoor flights. Anyway, I'm going to leave you a little bit more video footage, flight footage of this. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.